Welcome to the No Life Kings podcast. I'm Draves.
And I'm Case.
And coming to you in issue 40, we're going to talk to you about Mortal Kombat, and we're going to do a wrap-up of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, disclaimer, there are going to be spoilers all throughout all of this, because we're discussing the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier anyways. And Mortal Kombat, if we spoil it for you, we saved you some time in life that you would not have gotten back otherwise, and you should thank us.
It is not a good movie. So before we jump into the plot, I want to ask a question. Is this better or worse than all the other Mortal Kombats?
I feel like in some ways it's worse.
In some ways? Do you think the combat's better?
Yeah, I think the combat's better. I think the CGI is better. I think some things are better.
Sub-Zero is really good. I think a lot of things that they like the special effects for Sub-Zero I think work out pretty well. Like when he freezes that shotgun shot.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty dope. And stuff like that. I don't know if I remember the 90s Mortal Kombat, the first one that came out, in like nostalgia eyes a little bit. I just feel like this movie tried to be too serious and didn't pull it off, so it feels bad. Where it feels like the way I remember the 90s Mortal Kombat, it was like, no, we're a video game movie. We're going to go a little bit over the top into camp almost. And you know how many times during this movie I was just waiting to hear the Mortal Kombat theme song, and it never played. They never did the Mortal Kombat. I don't remember the beat to it, but you know what song I'm talking about from the 90s that became the most insane song ever.
Yeah, vaguely.
Wow, were you alive in the 90s?
I was.
I don't know if you were, if it's this vaguely. Of course, I also worked in laser tag arena as a arena guardian, and that song played almost every time there's a new competition, so I heard it a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Also,
so go ahead.
I was just gonna follow up on this. Arena Guardian as like a kid. Well, I was like 16, 17. So, teenager, right? Because I could drive myself. Is actually a pretty fun job because I got really good at laser tag. Well, it's called Laser Storm. Really, really good. And basically, my job most of the time was, hey, this team is losing by a lot. Go in on that team and even
go
the score.
Be an equalizer.
Yeah, and then I would usually come out with like 50 kills, 1 death or something. Like really good at this game. Like it was insane. But that was my job a lot. Was like then I had to clean toilets. But otherwise, it was basically stand in there, make sure people don't punch each other, and then if one team is really wiping the walls, go on the other team and even it out.
I wonder. I haven't played laser tag in like a really long time, but I remember that like when I did, like the packs were really large.
They're they're pretty big still.
Like I wonder now if like they're really slimmed down because just like sensors, circuitry.
Well, I think the target area is the same size, but they might be lighter, right? Because you don't want to make the target thing smaller. The place I was working, this is back in the 90s too, but it was chest target and ear target. So you wear like headphones on your head, which played music, I think, and also your gun sounds came through it, right? And that was pretty standard back then. I think nowadays, I don't know if they do the head thing. It was weird. I actually did play Laser Storm, one of them, in like the later 2000s. And there's apparently 2 different versions of this. The one that I worked at, it was like, a team versus a team, right? And you didn't commingle. There was like an interspersing maze that like you couldn't cross over into the other person's side. And like at one side of the maze was, the one team's base. At the other side was the other team's base. And you're trying to sneak your way up to their base and shoot their base for points or kill them for points. And I think if you got the base, it was more points or something like that, right? And then I played later, and it was just like a free-for-all huge arena where you're just shooting each other with no teams. And like I just rolled people there because it was like, all right, if I'm just shooting people, this is easy. Versus like trying to actually like attack a base. The base one's a lot better.
Yeah.
Sorry, I way too much experience on that.
So
back to Mortal Kombat, which you apparently not here.
So Mortal Kombat starts. I think if I recall correctly, it starts off in the 90s in a laser tag arena.
Yes, and they see me there after I've doped up on ketamine and thinned my blood out for biking, and they're like, "You're going to be in the Mortal Kombat with that physique." Does ketamine even do anything for that?
For what?
I don't think ketamine would do anything to make you physically stronger.
No, it's an anesthetic.
Yes. Maybe I'm numb. That way in Mortal Kombat, I wouldn't feel the fatalities.
I mean, it knocks you out. It's like a general anesthetic.
Oh.
So, I mean, like, if you what I think you could do is you could inject the other person with ketamine, you just win.
No. It was exactly. It was more like I was from Princess Bride. I built up an immunity to ketamine. And then I would just like throw ketamine in the arena, and everyone is not knocked unconscious, but me, because I have a immunity to it, because I built it over time, just like the iodine powder. That's a reference that if you don't get, I don't think we can have this podcast anymore.
So it starts off in feudal Japan.
Yes, starts off in feudal Japan, where we see Hanzo, Scorpion, with his family, and it seems like it might be a good movie. You're learning about the family members, you're getting some details about the world. And Ben Han shows up with his assassins, kills his family, kills Hanzo, and then you get the Mortal Kombat's opening credits. And I said, this actually might be a good movie. And then from basically that point on, I think it's mostly downhill from that point on, because I know that I've seen a lot of people online claiming the last battle scene, which we'll get to, was really good, but I don't really think it was. Like, I think it was like, you ever be on a roller coaster where you start at the top of the hill and then you drop? And then the rest of it's just you going around curves. That's basically what this was like.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, actually. Like, everything comes from the momentum of that first scene, or the first couple scenes. Because even okay, so after medieval Japan, where you see the Scorpion backstory, you see him and his family be killed except for a small baby.
Correct, and that small baby now has so in this realm, I don't know if this exists in any other Mortal Kombats. All the people in the Earth realm, at least, who are going to be competing in Mortal Kombat have a Mortal Kombat symbol birthmark on them. And seemingly it depends on either it's passed down the bloodlines between family members, or in the case of some people, when the person who kills you gets the Mortal Kombat symbol. So if you really want to be in Mortal Kombat, you could run someone over the car, and then all of a sudden you're in Mortal Kombat. But for some reason, with Hanzo, it passed down to his kid, and through his kids, something, that generational thing, versus everyone else who gets theirs by killing other people. Actually, in fact, Cole Young, the main character who we meet in the current feature in the MMA fight scene, he's the only Earthbound Mortal Kombat character that didn't get his from killing somebody.
He's the only Earthbound Mortal Kombat character. Correct. He inherited his.
Yeah, where Jax killed somebody, and that's why Jax and Sonya are trying to figure out what Mortal Kombat is. Kano kills somebody. Cole didn't, and is there someone else? Oh, then there's the two, what's their names?
Liu Kang, and then I don't know the other guy's name.
Shang Tsung, I believe.
No, Shang Tsung is the
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao. Yeah, Kung Lao.
Maybe those two got theirs from birth too. We just don't know it. In this movie, at least. Yeah, so anyhow, that logic makes no sense. And we open up and we're in current time, and it's an MMA fight, and we're watching the guy who has a Mortal Kombat symbol lose again. Apparently he always loses, but he's our savior in Mortal Kombat, I guess. And Jax comes visit him, and he's like, hey, we should get together because you have that Mortal Kombat symbol. And then Sub-Zero shows up, decides that he should freeze off Jax's arms, but allows Cole to escape and go to Sonya, and Sonya explains what all Mortal Kombat is. She has Kano there because she captured Kano because he has the symbol now because he killed the other.
Case.
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
It's too painful to explain the entire movie. We just.
I know. No. I'm just trying to get that part done. And then, because I want to get to the point again that then they go and decide they need to go to Radons. Yeah, they're going to raid. They have Radon in the basement.
Yeah.
So they go the plumber or whatever and install the radon remover. No, they go see I can't remember his name. Oh, Raiden. They go see Raiden. They go to his temple. 40 minutes of travel via plane and walking with a GPS system where Kano claims he knew where it was. Garbage. They get there, and Raiden's like, you guys suck. You can't win because you don't know your arcana. And even though I should have helped you a long time ago. And so screw you guys. We're all going to die. And also, Outer World's cheating by killing you before the Mortal Kombat. This is by the way, spoiler. The Mortal Kombat actually doesn't happen in this movie. And it was supposed to be the 10th Mortal Kombat where if Earth lost, Outer World somehow took over Earth. But the movie called Mortal Kombat actually has no Mortal Kombat in it.
No, wait. There is Mortal Kombat in that there's combat in which people are killed.
Correct. But there's no Mortal Kombat, as in the tournament known as Mortal Kombat.
Tournament known as Mortal Kombat. Yeah, okay.
There isn't, right? There's supposed to be a tournament where it's 1v1. Someone says, finish them. And they finish them. So, all right. Kano gets his eye powers. Oh, yeah. So they all have to figure out the arcana. And basically, Cole Young figures his out because he's getting beat up by a 6-armed dude. Oh, wait, no, that's way ahead. Is that way ahead? Oh, no. So they're all have to figure it out. And Shang Tsung's sends his evil minions to Raiden's castle to like fight them all. They're all losing.
Oh, do we have to go through the entire movie?
Listen,
Kate, please?
I'm just trying to get some of the points here. Is
you.
Cole Young somehow gets the power of beat the shit out of me so I become Black Panther power. So the more you hit me, the more power I have.
And then somehow he kills Goro, who there's an entire statue to in Outworld because he's like the great champion.
Yes.
But apparently he loses to some guy in his first fight.
Yeah, because the guy can make swords out of his elbows. I forget those.
Do you think that Goro like threw the fight?
I think Goro might be like he's know what it was? It was in the Outer Realms. They have the WWF equivalent, whatever they call it, where it's like fake wrestling. By the way, everyone, WWF and wrestling in general is fake, and it's predetermined who's going to win and lose, just so everyone knows. Sorry, everyone. And Santa's not real. But I'm just saying, so in their realm, he was like the number one wrestler, but he actually was just, fighting in a fake wrestling federation. So he never actually won any fights. And that's why they built him up as this champion when he really wasn't. So fast forward. So somehow Lord Raiden is that when he makes that shield thing and everyone finds the Arcana. Jax makes metal arms. Basically, Jax's power of his Arcana is to make bigger metal arms. That's not even like a power. He had bad metal arms and he got better metal arms. Cole's is like, I now have armor on. Someone could just make him armor. Made no sense. Sonya is, I don't know, brays of beams. That's another thing too. She gets her power because she kills Kano, right? Who has laser eyes, as we've stated before. And she like gets her power, somehow shows up at other people's combat and already has her Arcana, where everyone else had to go through this like extreme thing to get their power. And also, why does she want to be in Mortal Kombat so bad? Maybe she has a death wish.
I'm beginning to have a death wish because this segment's lasting too long.
Listen, it only feels that way because I didn't record the first one. So
it's partially true. It's partially true, but still, I can't go through the whole movie. Like,
I just want to jump to the end fight. So
okay,
no, not really. So Jax goes and fights Hammer Dude, wins. They fight Bird Dude with Hat Guy, who cuts her face in half. His fatality, right? And then some other people get killed, and then it's like, okay, we have to go fight Sub-Zero because apparently he's the best fighter they have, and so they were waiting to save him for last, right? And so Cole somehow gets transported to fight him by Shang Tsung's powers, and during the battle, Cole's family was taken hostage, and they're frozen. Here's another thing too, and this is why I hate the final fight scene, which people apparently liked. So Cole's family's frozen, just like Scorpion's family, Hanzo's family was frozen, but for some reason his family lives through it. Like, why is his family not dead? And then he summons Scorpion from the depths of hell to help fight Sub-Zero. And then there's this it's a pretty decent battle fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, except for the stupid things I don't like, where Sub-Zero makes an ice sword, and the ice sword is as strong as a metal katana. It makes no to me that's just illogical. If anyone's ever watched Karate Kid 2, you can punch through ice. Sword is doing shit for you, and it's a pretty decent fight scene. But in the background, you keep on seeing Cole just punching a sheet of ice that his family's stuck in, instead of defeating Sub-Zero and then maybe save your family. He just keeps on turning around and started punching the freaking ice things. It's it just took me out of the movie every time I seen him do it. Anyhow, so he fights, they kill Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat never happens. Then you see at the end, Johnny Cage is in Las Vegas. Johnny Cage? Yeah. So the sequel's right there. Are you excited about the sequel?
No.
Is there any? Well, I would say if the first 10 minutes were good. Otherwise, I don't know why anyone watched this movie. Just go watch the first 10 minutes. What I don't understand is, I think you talked about this before. How could you make a Mortal Kombat movie interesting, right? I just don't understand why it can't just be a Mortal Kombat and you're just learning the backgrounds of each character before the Mortal Kombat.
Like flashbacks?
Yeah. It'd be almost like Rocky. It's okay, Rocky's going to fight the Russian. And then they did a montage of how Rocky got there and how the Russian got there, and then they fight. That's a long movie because of the other stuff. But you could do that similar for each character. It's and maybe don't only show four of each side. You don't need all 20 characters, right? Or hell, just make it so the first half of the first movie is the first half of Mortal Kombat, and then it switch over to Outer World for the second one. I don't know. It seems so bad, and I wanted it to be kind of good. And Liu Kang, that's the other thing too. Is there was decent special effects, but then there was also like bad special effects.
I just wish they had made a better movie because we're all stuck at home.
Well, don't worry. You could have watched some other movie that came out. I mean, I'm just saying you had the potential to get the guy that made Daredevil to make this, and then the fight scenes would have been a lot better.
They just need to stop. Okay.
They're not going to stop. Mortal Kombat is so powerful. There's so many Ks. Ks everywhere. I actually saw somewhere where they're like, oh, we're going to talk to the cast, and it was spelled a K. And it made me so mad. I think the only thing that they changed from the comics that was good was Sonya's finishing move wasn't the blow you a kiss move. All right. So what we are coming down to is we highly recommend seal of approval from No Life Kings, especially Draves.
No,
that you must see
don't
this
even
movie.
Joke about it. That's not funny.
I think that's
not funny.
One of
That's
Dre's favorite movie of all time.
No, it's not funny.
Him and Liu Kang had the same haircut, so he kind of bonded with him.
Okay, that's kind of true.
He liked. I mean, there was some good the guy that played Liu Kang, Ludi Lin. He looked pretty ripped. I could see him being like an awesome character in something else. Like he had really good martial arts skills and was a pretty good actor. I liked him.
Yeah.
But he apparently
that was a bright spot.
Ludi Lin, apparently, by the way, was in Power Rangers. I was unaware of this, in Aquaman. So he's had some. He was a Black Ranger in Power Rangers and Captain Merc in Aquaman. So he's not like he's out of nowhere. He's good. A good actor. I hope he does something better in the future. But all right, fine. Well, you can stop talking about your favorite movie of all time and move on to. And maybe, I have a question about this. Did the fact that we watched the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier before we watched Mortal Kombat make Mortal Kombat worse?
Probably, but I don't know if it needed any help.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad movie.
Mortal Kombat had a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, okay, it can't be that bad, and it was that bad.
No, 55% on Rotten Tomatoes usually, in my view, is not a bad score because there's so many people that just hate on movies nowadays.
Sure. So I kind of thought, okay, it can't be that bad because Godzilla King of Monsters had a far lower score than that.
Yeah, but I also didn't like that movie.
Kind of watchable,
I will admit, Godzilla versus whatever the other guy's name, King Kong, was a better movie than this, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of things I didn't like about King Kong but it was pickiness. Well, maybe not pickiness. Some of it was just plot-driven stuff. But yeah, definitely hardcore. A lot better was King Kong. I would have watched that instead of watching this. I would have watched that one a second time. Hell, I would have just watched Winter Soldier, that episode 3 times instead of watching this. So bad. So speaking of Winter Soldiers and Falcons, it's over. So what do you want to say about that?
It was a great series. That's all.
All right, cool. All right, guys, thanks for showing up. Great series. So we now have Falcon is now Captain America, and because he stopped the Flag Smashers from doing something. I've actually was thinking about this. What was Flag Smashers' goal? At the beginning, at the very end, they had the goal of stop this vote from happening. But prior to that, they didn't really have a goal.
No, they were just kind of, I guess they were stealing medicines and stuff and distributing them as they saw fit.
Yeah, but it's one of those have you ever? It'd be like holding a bank hostage, and then the cops call up and they're like, "So what do you want?" And you're like, "I don't know. I only thought to this point. I don't know how you make me happy. What do you want?" So anyhow, what happened in the last one is the Flag Smashers are finally like, hey, there's a vote happening, and that vote is to determine if the military goes in and removes people from the homes they've been living in for the last 5 years because the Blippi people came back. Is basically what it comes down to. And the refugees, right? And remove the refugees from the different countries now that the countries are back in existence because everyone returned. It is basically what the Flag Smashers' goals are in this last episode, and it's about... well, I guess we didn't talk about the 5th episode either. The training montage, right? Where Falcon and Winter Soldier are at his farm and becoming their new selves.
Is it a farm?
Well, when I say farm, it looks like a farmhouse, but he's actually a fisherman. I say farm whenever it's a rural existence. How about that? I say
okay.
To me, if you're not in an urban setting, you're in a farm.
We can say it's Falcon's hometown.
Yeah, and they're there training. And oddly, I still fundamentally don't understand the shield because Falcon can use it pretty well. like bouncing around and stuff. Like it seems like you need super soldier serum to be able to do that stuff, but obviously not in this show. So anyone can use this shield effectively. It's like a magic. Is it like maybe have like a remote control in it or something? I don't understand. So they're training, right? And then the big finale is these people are voting about removing refugees, and they're going to go stop it. I'm just stalling here because I'm trying to figure out all the details that I wanted to talk about. I can't remember any of them. I don't understand the plan again. Like, even if you go and take all the freaking senators that are making this vote in America and kill them all, it doesn't stop the vote from happening. Like, it just makes you look worse. Anyhow, so Falcon gets new armor from Wakanda. It's Captain America armor. It's pretty dope. I still, and maybe Draves, I don't know if you heard anything. Is it the whole thing made out of vibranium or just the shield in his wings?
I think it's very similar to Black Panther's suit.
So if that's true, why would they leave his head open to get shot?
Good question.
Like if it's like, here's a vibranium shoe where you get shot anywhere except for the major organ of your body called your brain. Like that's why I feel it might not actually be vibranium. I did read a bit about the suit after the episode. It seems.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing at least the wings are vibranium, right?
I think so too. And people were pointing out that it looks like the wings are actually the way they're attached. They're like part of the suit now versus a backpack that he wore.
Oh yeah.
And so, and most likely, because John Walker rips his wings off I don't know if that was the episode prior to this, of his old suit, and he gives it to his companion. And so, most likely, the reason that'd be impossible to do now is what people are assuming, right? You're not gonna be able to rip the Falcon's wings off. But I think it's a pretty dope look. It's very comic-esque for anyone who's read the Captain America run where Falcon took over as Captain America for a while. I think it's pretty much similar to what he had there. It's pretty cool. I think he wields it well. I still don't understand he doesn't have super soldier serum in him. So how's he do half the stuff he does? Like, he stands up to things that the Winter Soldier has troubles with. Like, I think they're not selling the difference between the super soldiers very much. So they both take them. They're taking hostages, and we find out that Sharon Carter is actually the power broker. Surprise, surprise. I'm not against that. I know a lot of people online are anti this, but I think that's fine.
Anti what?
That Sharon Carter became the power broker.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. Well, because it was very different than the comic books. You know how it is if someone becomes something. I really do dig. They save the day, of course, because it's Marvel. You always save the day in Marvel. At the end, you kind of have like this whole showdown with Captain America, who, Falcon, and the senators basically like being like, what the fuck's wrong with you people? Like, stop being in your ivory tower richness. Look at the society around you and make it better. Don't just make your bottom line better, basically. But it was like a 5-minute scene. I thought it was done really well. For the times, too. It really fits the times. So, yay for that. I don't know if it's good or bad that we have to actually have that happen. Bucky Barnes finally becomes, hey, I'm the Winter Soldier, and I'm finally getting over this. He goes and talks to the old man and tells the old man. That's the thing that bothered me. He goes to tell the old man that he killed his son. And it's going to be like this moment of Bucky Barnes, like, coming to a conclusion of his Winter Soldierness. And he basically, like, walks in the door, and they cut the scene. They should have had that scene happen. Like a little breath there. Like, let Bucky Barnes have that moment. But they kind of like cut that scene out.
Well, he had the moment, we just didn't see it.
Well, yeah, but it'd be nice to see it on camera. But I think it was more focused on like the Falcon and bringing awareness to injustice happening, because he was able to get Isaiah Thomas an actual part of the museum about him and his. Isaiah Bradley was able to get part of his history shown in the museums of super soldiers, which is pretty dope, and bring out this injustice done to the black community in America, I guess. Then what else? Oh, so I think the dopest part that happened is, so they stop Carly, who basically was taking these hostages. So Winter Soldier saves half of them, and then Falcon and him fight and stop the other ones and save it. Blah 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 blah. Oh, Falcon does a big thing where he fights a helicopter and is able to take the guy out because there happens to be a person that flies helicopters in the helicopter. Lucky him. But I was very interested, and I think I was like, my favorite part was they rounded up the other 4 flag smashers at the super soldier serum and like put them into a police car, but you like have this scene where one of the cops is like, until the world is one or something, and you're like, oh man, they're gonna live, and subplot story eventually. And then the cars start driving down, and the truck just explodes, and it zooms out to what is Baron von Zemo's butler, like with a trigger button. And it was like, to me, it was like, what the fuck just happened? And like, who's this old guy? What the hell? And I thought that was pretty dope. And then they show Zemo in jail, but like kind of like smiling because he still has control outside of it. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, so yeah, I think overall, I think it was a great series, like you said. I think I've read some places where they're working on the Dark Avengers versus Thunderbolts. And so John Walker becomes a U.S. agent. He's one of the Dark Avengers, I believe. So they're kind of going to build up the Dark Avengers side, which is basically not Captain America's type of Avengers. They're a lot more gritty, a lot more, they murder people and stuff like that. I think Wolverine's actually on it. So they're going to build up the Dark Avengers, and then they're going to build up the Thunderbolts, which is like basically Zemo's version of the Avengers. They start off as good, but eventually they're evil under the hoods. And so that there might be like a Dark Avengers versus the Thunderbolts in the future, which I think would be pretty dope. Anything else there, Draves?
I think the one thing I would say is that this seemed very timely for something that was filmed before COVID, likely before all the things that happened last year with George Floyd and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
I think that it was really nice. And maybe that's like an understatement, but I thought like this was sort of like it was very timely. It really, I think, spoke to some things that had gone on, and I think that it had a really good balance of Isaiah Bradley's kind of like cynicism based on like what he went through, and Sam's optimism as to what
right.
the future could be like, and what I thought was a very it was very like unifying kind of situation. Definitely I still read Instagram comments and stuff like that where people are like my captain is Steve Rogers.
So the freaking so dumb.
And I believe the only reason you would say that is racism.
No, I mean it is. It's just the dumbest thing ever. Like they're not real people.
He was Captain America in the comics. I don't really see why there would be like any resistance to that. He passed the mantle on. That's what happened.
Just to clear up one thing, just so you know, it started in 2019, the filming, but because of COVID, they didn't finish till 2020 in March. So part of it was filmed after.
Wait, March 2020? No, that would be that's
still
all
before.
well before.
Yeah, that's still
Floyd
before.
thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think me and you talked about this before. I don't know if we left in the episode or not, but the reason the things happen, the BLM movement, all that's happening, is not because of what happened in 2020, right? It's been something around for years and years.
Sure,
and years.
it's not like the problem didn't exist
Yeah.
before. We didn't know it didn't exist, but like I look. I think we can both agree that there's like a weird thing. Whereas like if they'd filmed this after George Floyd, they'd written it. It would have seemed like they were, I don't know,
grabbing money
taking
almost.
advantage
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But because like it was sort of written before and all that stuff, it just sort of came off as this very genuine, very like sort of just happened to be a well-timed thing. And I look, I mean, having dark skin myself, some of I've definitely experienced racism in my life.
Right.
Definitely experienced suboptimal things being said and done to me, and there like some of those conflicts that Sam goes through. While I maybe it's not like my people have a history of oppression that lasts hundreds of years in this country. Yeah, so like I mean, like it's a different situation. I can relate to parts of it, is what I'm saying, and I think it was just a really nice. It was just nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, when Captain America, when Falcon became Captain America in the comics too, it was very politically charged around the same threads in the show, right? The whole like, half the country's anti the new Captain America because he's black, right? And how he was treated differently than Steve Rogers Captain America, right? And Falcon in the comics went a little further because he actually started like helping out these people that were being treated wrongly, versus Steve, who just fought otherworldly things. Like he actually used his mantle to try to better society in that sense, and it did have some backlash then too. But also you can see the threads, so you can see why they even wrote the story even before the events of 2020. Why they would have written the story, because they're not blind people, right? They have They know the world. But no, I think it was great. Like, even though it was like a very long scene at the end when he was confronting the senators, like, I felt it was a good amount too. I wasn't sitting there going like, oh man, stop preaching. It was like, oh no, this is important. This is a good scene.
Yeah, no, totally. Like I say, it was well done. It's probably the best balance of entertainment, serious topic handling, and sort of, I guess, feel good
Yeah.
vibes that I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, I thought it was dope. It was even the first few episodes with the, like, the scenes with the cops, right, pulling them over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I even brought those up to friends. I'm like, dude, you got to watch this show. I love the fact that they're doing this type of stuff because it's more realistic to what society is like right now for some people. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I talked about it a lot, and then, like, the ending too. Now I'm like, you got to watch the series. Like, even if you don't into MCU, just the way they did the entertainment and the political together, I think is top notch.
And the other thing I will say is this too. I think that the like, sort of like, my only sort of, I guess, like, gripe with Marvel is they're willing to do this in, like, their secondary IPs.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had Black Panther, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there wasn't a overt political sort of, like, situation with like, point being made with Black Panther.
Well, there was with Killmonger and how you should have more open borders and shared information and helping everyone and just not have close yourself off to only better yourself.
I mean, but that's more about, like, sort of like this Wakandan situation than it was, like, sort of like this.
Yeah, this was
like,
more targeted to an actual current country and its current problems.
yeah, so, like, I mean, like, my sort of critique to Marvel about all this is all great, but you've got to sort of also be willing to, like, have these stances openly in your sort of premier IPs, your premier movies and stuff like that. And if you're willing to do that, then you're really making a stand. This feels like a hedge.
I get you saying. I mean, no matter how much we might like MCU, Disney is a corporation.
Sure, but, like, I think that there's a
No, I'm saying I want them to do it. But I can also see why the Mickey Mouse Club would also be hesitant.
Look, I don't care. Like, Disney, like, grow a fucking pair, and, like, if you're gonna make these stances in your secondary IPs, you better damn sure make sure that they're in, like, your.
Well, that is an interesting question. Like, in the comics, Captain America comes back, and then he kills everyone because he's Secret Hydra. Anyhow, doesn't matter. Comics are weird. He comes back, right, and Falcon becomes Falcon again. I do not want them to do that in the MCU.
I mean, I don't know if they can.
Contractually wise, because of actors, I understand. But what happens if they do something where Falcon loses the role again and it's given to someone else, or something like that? I kind of want Falcon to stay. I want him to be Captain America, at least for the next whole Phase 4.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that if there's another Captain America, it would be like some incredible end to Sam's, like, story arc, and then, like,
yeah, like if he dies from some great sacrifice or something like that, right? Or even like how Captain America's ended, right? That's fine.
Well, Captain America didn't sacrifice Jack. He lived to be old. He dies of, like, natural causes somewhere.
He had to go back in time and live without cell phones. That's a sacrifice.
Is it? I mean, he kind of knew what that was like before.
Yes, and he didn't like it. I don't know.
And he got the love of his life in exchange for cell phones.
Yeah, but that goes into the whole fallacy. I don't believe that there's only one single person for everyone.
Yeah, okay, sure.
You also don't know that either. You just see him dance with her. He got the one dance he missed. They might have never talked to each other after that.
It's true. It's possible they broke up. There is actually no guarantee that Peggy and Captain end up together.
Yeah, exactly, right? You have no idea.
I mean, like, look, I mean, and actually, if you think about it, what she says in Captain America in Winter Soldier, the movie, actually contradicts the timeline where her and Steve end up together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he went back. They had that dance. They broke up, and then he had to live in a bomb shelter so no one could find him, and he wouldn't break the timeline.
Yeah, he was just, like, hanging out.
So, but all right, here you go. For example, here's what I don't want to happen. Turns out that Steve Rogers had a kid. That kid has super serum in him, is grown up to be a decent person, and people are like, he should be Captain America, not Falcon. That's stupid.
Yep.
But if Falcon's doing something, achieving something, and then he passes the mantle on to someone else, that's fine. Like
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like this whole like, no, you're not Captain America because people on the internet were mad about it and we're gonna step back. Like, go forward with it, make it badass. Also, totally off this current conversation. At the end of the last episode, they show the title screen again, except Falcon scratched out and says Captain America and a Winter Soldier. Why doesn't Bucky get a new name? Like, he got over being the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it should have been Captain America and the White Wolf.
Exactly, that would have been dope, right? Should have been something like that. So that a little miss there. They can fix that in post. After the head of Disney hears us talking, they'll probably like update that and not tell anyone and just show up on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm also pretty sure that they're gonna listen to me and also like tackle these big social issues in premier IPs.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, that's our 21st listener was him. Like, is it bad I can't think of the CEOs of Disney's names?
So here's my next question: do you think that there will be a Sam Wilson Captain America movie?
Yes. No. Wait. Yes. Wait. Aren't all the Phase 4 movies already claimed? Is it Phase 5?
Maybe.
What are we on? So you have Black Widow, which is in the past, right? So that's not going to.
Should it really be called Black Widow? Didn't they tackle this issue?
Listen, Black Panther's title is Black. It's also Black Panther. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, which we saw the trailer of, and I think it looks pretty dope. Internals, not going to be there. Spider-Man No Way Home. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Thor and the Love of Thunder. Black Panther 2. Captain America 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Guardians 3. And Fantastic Four. So I don't see any movies that are going to be Captain America.
So then my question is,
wait, hang on.
we're going to see a season of this?
I lied. In April of 2021, a fourth Captain American film was revealed to be in development, being written by Malcolm Spellman and Nulan Muson, Dalan Musson. And they were the duo. All right, so this might be good. They're the duo that was previously served as the head writers and staff writer for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So the writers of the show are making a movie.
Okay.
So
it'll probably be called Falcon, Captain America and the Winter Soldier movie.
It's called Captain America and the Winter Soldier for the movie starring White Wolf.
Yes.
Sold.
Dude, White Wolf. So then, like, look, should they really be calling him?
Oh
White
my
Wolf?
God. Yes, because
just
that's the
Wolf.
title. That's the title. Falcon.
Dude, but like
the title.
Look, when the Wakandans call him the White Wolf, that's just as racist when people call him the Black Falcon.
I know you're not being serious, because that's totally something that would be on Fox News.
I'm not entirely. I mean, like, it's more like I never thought about it like than it is like me being serious.
No, the White Wolf is the title. There was a White Wolf before Bucky. Also, at least in the comic books, there was someone called White Wolf before Bucky. It's a title that's held, right? Just like Black Panther is the title. It's not a description. Like, it's not like if a Mexican
So I
became.
wish somebody had brought that
Black
up. Be like,
Panther.
"You're Black Falcon." Be like, "No, I'm Falcon. Are you Black Kid?" And be like, "What about Black Panther?" And then he'd be like,
Well, no, that's a title. That's like, again, that's a title. Two different things. Captain America is the
I
title.
know, but that's why it would be like hard to like get out of, right?
Well, no, it's not. He'd just be like, that's what the king's title is Black Panther. It doesn't matter who wears that mantle, they would still be the Black Panther.
Anyways, I'm pretty sure they were trying to make a point that was not this, but you get what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. You're just wrong.
I'm not wrong.
If Steve Rogers would become the king of Wakanda, he would be still called the Black Panther because it's the title.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay, but White Wolf. Like if I was Bucky, would they call me the Brown Wolf?
No, they call you the White Wolf because the White Wolf is a title in the Wakanda society. Is what I'm trying to say.
I see. Okay, so I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's already existed in the lore. That's what I was trying to get at. What the point was is if someone becomes Captain America, you don't change the title Captain America to be Color Captain America, right? That's the point.
Yeah, correct.
In White Wolf,
it's not Color Captain America. It's Captain Color America. That's the naming convention.
It's like, yeah.
I missed the point again, didn't I?
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you really want to know, the White Wolf is the chieftain of the Hatu Zaraz tribe and the head of the secret police in Wakanda. And so I'm assuming he took the mantle once that person passed on and is the head of the espionage arm in Wakanda as the White Wolf. He was also the adopted son of Wakanda. So he wasn't actually Wakandan either.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Bucky's kind of a adopted son of
That's
Wakanda.
what I'm saying. It follows the same thing. In this one, in the comics, it wasn't originally my words lost my brain. He was a different person in the comics that became the White Wolf, and he was the head of their secret police, basically. He also was not Wakandan, where I think they're just taking that title of the head of the secret police is known as the White Wolf, and he became the White Wolf. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. His intelligence level is only 3, though. I always find it interesting when you look at comic book characters in any kind of encyclopedia, they like kind of break down their like intelligence levels between values of like 1 and 5.
Intelligence, all that stuff.
Yeah. And it's always like, I'm like, what's a 3 intelligence versus a 4 intelligence?
All I know is I believe Tony Stark is a 6.
Listen, I think there's only 3.
And Spider-Man's like a -3 or something.
I think there actually is only like 3 like maxed people. Maybe it's 4, and it's like Tony Stark, Fantastic Four guy, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Doom, and then maybe another evil character I can't think of.
Oh, what about Banner?
No, Banner's a 4. Him and Spider-Man are both 4s.
Oh God, Banner and Spider-Man are both idiots.
Yeah. Oh, I think Charles Xavier is also a 5.
Yeah, but that's like cheating.
Because he can read all the he actually takes tests, and he's like reads the answers from the teacher's head.
Yeah, like it's just cheating.
I mean, I could be remembering this wrong, but I remember reading somewhere that there was only like a handful of 5. Well, if 5 was the max people, and then everything else was below them by at least 1 point. And I know Spider-Man wasn't one of the 5. That's all I know. Anyhow, this is went off the rails a little bit here.
No, it didn't.
That's it. We're going to play Marvel role-playing game, and you can play as Tony Stark, and I'll just kill you over and over again.
Tony Stark cannot be killed. He can only kill himself by snapping.
He also became a hologram for a bit, just so you know, and evil for a bit.
Is evil when he makes the Endo Sim suit?
Yeah, I believe that's when it happened, right? I think that might be right. I don't know. Comics, to me, are so hard to follow anymore. So many. I'm getting old. I know too much about all the history that it all becomes in the wash almost. The thing I've been doing recently, I know you probably don't care about this now, we probably should have this conversation, is I've switched over. I still get like single issues, but I've been like spying trade backs of different things I missed in the past because of I just didn't catch my eye at the time that people will say like good books. And so that's been kind of fun. It's been my my escape from my hopefully be out of prison soon vaccine shots.
Oh yeah.
But been reading a good amount of them. I should like give you a few of them. You might like them.
Yeah. I'm actually excited because Marvel finally got rid of Diamond as their distributor.
I thought DC got rid of their Diamond as
They did too.
Oh, they both did?
Yeah. So Marvel's moved to Penguin Random House.
That's cool.
So it'll actually be easier for comic book stores to actually get comics. Diamond was basically being run like a racket.
Well, no, they had been. Diamond is one of the reasons a lot of the comics kind of are dying.
Yeah,
they had a monopoly, basically. Well, actually, it drove things like, oh, you need to have a subscription at your store because the store will only be allowed to get certain comics if it has a certain amount of people ordering those comics. So you won't be able to get like a single issue unless you have like 10 other people also getting it. And then you won't get the special foiled collector's thing unless you have 100 orders. And you have to know this like 6 months in advance. So, yeah. Anywho, I hate Diamond. Go ahead. So you're going to be able to read more things?
I don't even know that much about the whole like Diamond situation, but like I hate them too because it's impossible to get the comics you want.
Correct. I agree with that. I mean, hopefully it won't be a removal of the comic book store because I think I'm glad they exist. But there are times when I'm like, I just want to pick up this issue or something. And I don't want to run to a store to get it. I also do not read digital comics. It's just I don't like them, so that also hinders me a little bit. Technology. And on that wonderful bombshell, do you remember all of the outro, Graves?
Yeah, if you want to reach out to us on Instagram, we're at NoLifeKings. If you'd like to reach out to us on Twitter, it's at NLK_podcast. And if you'd like to email us at podcast@NoLifeKings.com.
Awesome! And this is where you make a joke about me having a fun thing to say, and I say cheers.
I feel like the outro this time should just be like calling you pretty boy and like
Should I call you pretty boy then?
Hey pretty boy, like we always say when we're recording.
The Mortal Kombat theme song.
And then we'll get Zemo dancing to it.
Pretty boy, 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 pretty. Hey, look, I'm recording now.